The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, well, looks like they're going for 2, even though
Fire them cannons. By golly, put more powder in those things.
There you go.
Why won't he go away? God, he's like a hemorrhoid or a herpes sore. It always comes back at the worst possible time.
A lot of experience with that, huh?
Not even in my division anymore, and you still just piss me off.
Tom Brady unretires. They come back, and now they start loading the decks back up. See who we can bring back. Chris Godwin on a long-term deal. You got Carlton Davis coming back again. Ryan Jensen is coming back as well. One of the best off seasons of any team because they were able to keep as many pieces as they did. Now, the problem is you spent so much money, now you have to find value in the draft.
Yep, and you don't have but 6 picks. Now, that being said, the 6 picks that I gave you here probably my favorite class in the NFL draft in this exercise.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. So let's get into the Sportsocracy post-free agency 7-round mock draft for my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 27 overall in the first round. I would be over the moon to get this guy. Zion Johnson, guard out of Boston College.
Very athletic. It projects to be a left guard in the NFL. Good run blocker, good pass blocker. Really nothing to not like about him. The big drawback is that there were 2 players on each side of him that are also draftable, in Tyler Vrabel and Alec Lindstrom. So you don't know that there weren't some deficiencies covered up, but the raw of him is unbelievable. He's a freak of nature. Almost a 9-foot broad jump at 6'3", 310 pounds. 4.7 shuttle time, 32 reps. What is there to not like about this kid?
Especially thinking about him next to Tristan Wirfs just gives me all kinds of goosebumps.
Well, and it should. The one thing that you got to understand is that the biggest drawback on him as of right now is in pass pro. And the technique in pass pro sometimes was lacking. I believe a very good way to cover up for that and kind of teach him on the fly is put him in between Ryan Jensen and Tristan Wirfs. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure I couldn't play guard between those two and at least look half-assed. So this kid that's unbelievably freak of nature talented, he's probably going to look pretty good too. I also played tackle at times at Boston College. I mean, very versatile. He can do damn near anything. There were some teams that thought he could play center too.
Right. He was taking snaps at the Senior Bowl, showing all the teams that he can do everything on the offensive line. And this is the perfect replacement to Alex Cappa, who went to the Cincinnati Bengals. You slot him in, the Shaq Mason deal. All of a sudden, that offensive line that you thought was a problem with Ali Marpet retiring, no longer a problem if you can get this guy at 27 overall. In the second round, at number 60 overall, if you'd asked me, preseason of the college football year, if we could get this guy in the second round, I'd have told you you're out of your mind. But DeMarvin Leal, defensive tackle from Texas A&M, put him down there with Vita Vea. Makes me feel good.
There's a lot of questionable effort on this kid. As of the recording of this video, you can still get DeMarvin Leal as the 10th most likely player to go number 1 overall. You could give me that at 20 gajillion to 1 odds, and I would not give you a nickel on it. Mm-hmm. I've been saying this kid was not going to go as high as people think for as long as I can remember. And the reason is because the more you watch the tape on him, the less you like him. Mm-hmm. The burst plays are great. Very good pass rusher. To me, projects as a 3-4 defensive end, which is where he would fit. He would be the Ndamukong Suh replacement with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And you put the pieces around him that they have, that could be – I think he could really flourish there. There were teams that thought he was a 4-3 end. Those teams are out of their fucking minds because he's not. He's very versatile. I fully believe you can play him on the interior in your nickel sets, a 4-man front, and he's going to be a good pass rusher in that period. The problem is the effort level sucks. There were many times that I would completely forget he was on the field. The other problem is that I only saw the flashes of great. The flashes of great were top 5 in this class good. Mm-hmm. There just weren't enough of them. And now I have routinely said I don't think the Texas A&M guys – I think every player I've talked about from Texas A&M, I fully believe they're going to go into the league and get better. Effort does not tend to be a big issue in the NFL. I'm not sure that he's going to be able to do in the NFL what he did in college and be as productive because there weren't a lot of moves. There's not a lot of tools in his tool belt. It's just, hey, I'm big, strong, fast, and go through you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to do that in the NFL. And that's why he falls to the back end of the second round. Super, unbelievably talented. Way too talented to go at 60. But that motor runs real cold at times.
Yep. Ronald Jones is gone from this team. Leonard Fournette is back on a $7 million a year deal.
Stop paying running backs.
And there's a place for Leonard Fournette in this league, and playoff Lenny is back with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But you still need to add to that running back room with Keyshawn Vaughn there as well. Good opportunity to pick up one in the third round if he's still around at this point. 91st overall, Breece Hall, running back out of Iowa State.
All of the running backs in this class got pushed down because I don't think any of them are elite. Breece Hall's my one.
Mm-hmm.
He is arguably the best receiving back in this class that can also run between the tackles. I think he's better than Kenny Walker and all of the Isaiah Spillers and all the running backs that are up there. This would be the long-term replacement to Fournette, but I think you can play them together for a year. If I remember correctly, you can get out of that Fournette deal pretty comfortably after a year.
Probably so.
And if there's no Tom, you should. You 100% should.
Mm-hmm.
And Breece Hall would be your running back of the future. He's great value here. He's an insanely talented player. He leaves a little bit to be desired as a pass blocker, which makes it hard for me to think he's ever going to be truly a 3-down running back. But he could be a 3-down running back in that New England Patriot definition of a 3-down back. You're the bell cow, but we still have these situational pieces, the Burkheads and the James Whites.
Right.
That's more where I would project him. In terms of running between the tackles, second best in this class. I have Kenny Walker better between the tackles. Breece Hall is 2. And as an all-around back, he is clearly my 1.
Well, if it fell this way, Tampa Bay fans would be extremely happy because there have been mock drafts that from some evaluators that you've seen them use that 27th pick in the first round.
On all 3 of the guys that I gave you.
Yeah, on Breece Hall in the first round.
That's not going to happen.
So if you could get him in the third round, we see that as a great value.
There will be no running backs going in the first round of this draft. I know that scuttlebutt is getting more it's not happening.
It is.
It's not happening. Yeah. None of these guys are graded like that. Last year, Javonte Williams, Najee Harris. I'm trying to think of how many would have been higher rated than any running back in this class. And I think I got to 5.
Michael Carter.
And Michael Carter went the 4th round.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have been close.
In the 4th round, at 133 overall, Tampa Bay Buccaneers could select Jermaine Waller, cornerback out of Virginia Tech.
I love the tape on this kid, but he is so scheme-specific. He belongs with Todd Bowles because he's not overly fast. He's just not.
Mm-hmm.
He ran a 4.68. Not short, but not tall. It's just a lot of but. And he's super thin. 175. You ran a 4.68 at 175. That is terrifying. Now, that being said, he is arguably the best ball hawk in this class. I mean, he plays the ball like you were throwing it at him.
Mm-hmm.
There's a merit to that. If you expect him to play man, you're fucked because he will never do it. He is never going to be that guy. Now, if you can drop him back in zone and just let him play the ball, I'm not as worried about you playing the receiver. Read and react skills are fantastic. I need you to play the ball. That is what's getting you drafted, is that you are very good picking the ball off, deflecting passes. You did a lot of that at Virginia Tech. I'm going to need you to be – he's very scheme-specific. That's the easiest way to say that. And to me, he fits Tampa Bay tremendously.
2 picks in the 7th round for the Buccaneers. 249th overall. Get a center out of Utah, Nick Ford.
Exceptional athlete. More of an athlete right now than he is an actual football player. 6'5", 320, ran a 5.1 at the combine. Really strong, much better run blocker right now than he is pass blocker. Projects as could play guard or center. This is a 7th lineman in the league. You're going to have to teach him technique because his is severely lacking.
Mm-hmm.
But now if you can teach him that, this is a value depth piece that you could have on your roster for 5 years, and it wouldn't shock me. He does project as a player in this league. I just think as of right now, he doesn't do anything. He does nothing that's going to get him drafted from a skill set point of view. This is all raw tool. And the thing that makes me nervous about that is he's one of the most experienced players in this draft. He was a 4-year starter at Utah. Mm-hmm. So you would think these things would have rounded off. They haven't. So you're going to have to coach this kid up. But if you do that, it could really pay off for you in the long run.
Final pick of the draft for Tampa Bay, 262nd overall, Jeremiah Gimmel, linebacker from the University of North Carolina.
If you're patient with this kid, he could be the ultimate replacement to Levante David, because I think it's what he does. Mm-hmm. I think he fits this. And look, I'm going to come out and tell you this. I think this is Bruce Arians' last year coaching this team. I think Todd Bowles will be the next head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think it'll happen 1 year from now.
Okay.
He fits this defense. He is a very stereotypical Todd Bowles-y kind of linebacker. And having him next to Devin White, I could see that being really good in the long run. There are not a lot of linebackers in this entire draft that fit this position all that well. He's super raw, and his instincts are not great. He reminds me of, and the name, Chaz Surratt.
Yes.
He kind of reminds me of a very sterilized version of Chaz Surratt without the instincts. Mm-hmm. Now, is there a merit to that? Absolutely. Scheme specific, like I said, he's a good tackler. He's good enough in coverage. You're going to have to teach him to play against the run, or he will be an absolute liability. And that's the reason he comes in here. I think he will have special teams value off the jump, but you're going to have to teach him to be a linebacker in this league.
Yep. And he's a great leader, great young kid. This is the kid that you saw. He got hurt in the Pittsburgh game, I believe, in the ACC championship game. He gets hurt early in the game. He is the leader on the sidelines. He's the guy, yelling out the coverages to the, all of that from the sideline. He's just a great kid.
He's a great kid. He's it's a great voice to have in the room.
Yep.
I've talked about this a lot in the 7th round of these drafts, as we've done them for every team, which you can find right here on the channel. Probably a little thing appearing above my head about right now that you can click on, and it'll show you all of the ones that we've done. I'm big on the character and the leadership qualities and the voice in the room with picks that come in here, because that's what will keep you on my roster. And as opposed to going undrafted free agent where I'm going to have to figure things out with you in a year or 2 years, 3 years, I would rather have the 3-year deal done with the leadership guys. And I can see what it is that you will be before I have to make a decision. It's the guys that have real character flaws and things like that. That's where I'm going to go undrafted free agent. Mm-hmm. Gimmel is too good of a between-the-ears player and in coverage too good of a player to not go drafted. He has massive physical limitations.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers 7-round post-free agency mock draft right here in the Sportsocracy from the Ingles studio. Low prices, love the savings. If you like Jeremy's picks, if you hate Jeremy's picks, just weigh in.
If you think I'm a big mulleted, ginger-bearded, man-bun dipshit, you can comment that out too. I have a smoking hot wife and I talk about sports for a living, so your little words on the internet are not going to hurt me. And if you want to throw out your mock draft of what it would look like if you were drafting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or if there's a player you'd like to know how they fit, throw those in the comments. I go through every day and answer those. And I have been dumbfounded at how good the common fan is at mock drafts. I haven't seen one yet that I wanted to make fun of. Mm-hmm. Now, there's some that I didn't agree with, but they have been really good, and I'm thoroughly enjoying seeing your take on mock drafting.
So leave us a comment. Also, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Join us every weekday live in the Ingles studio at 3 o'clock. Also, you'll get all of our team-by-team content throughout the Draftmas season. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene.
Yep.
And we'll see you next time.